Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are Too Complex. We got some good content for you today, some controversy on the horizon, man. But before we get into the topics, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers that we drop every single week, man.
And
so we back, man. We back, D-Lo, man. How was your week, bro?
Man, you know how it was. I don't even have to say it now. Everybody knows how my week was. It was all good. Spent time with the family, as much time as I could anyway. And, just enjoying life. It's been crazy, though, in all honesty, the last week. Weather's been crazy the last 3 days. Since 4th of July, we've had the hottest days on record since that day. Apparently, there's some dust clouds and dust sand traveling the Atlantic Ocean from Africa that's supposed to hit the southeast soon. And then it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's going wild, ain't it?
It's crazy, dog. It's just the crazy times we living in. But other than that, man, no real complaints. You know me, I'm not gonna complain about too much. Enjoying everything and everybody that I get to come in contact with on a daily basis. What about you? How was your last week?
Hey, man, last week was great. I mean, as much as I miss home, I don't miss them hot days because over here in the Pacific Northwest, my brother, it's been a smooth 80, 85 every day. And I will take that with no humidity any day of the week, my boy.
100%.
But as far as the week myself, of course, I came back a couple of weeks ago from North Carolina, which was amazing. But over the past couple of weeks, last week and this week, just kind of been focusing on my next path as far as my career is concerned. Me and Sam's mom do every other week during the summer. So I had her last week, so I didn't have Sam this week, but which is cool. You know what I'm saying? We got to share that time. You know, we co-parent very, very well, so I'm not worried about that. But this week, which is kind of focused on myself and just trying to make sure that I'm making the right decisions as far as my career and where I'm going from there. But other than that, everything has been cool, my boy. Everything has been great, man. Everything's been great. Yeah, man. Everything. what you over there cheesing about? What you got to say?
The funny thing is, you're in the co-parenting situation, and we're gonna have a conversation today about child support, co-parenting, and all that stuff. So it's just it's good to hear that you have a culpable situation,
a healthy situation
compared to some of the people that we discuss on this podcast.
100%, man. So just to go ahead and jump right into the content, the topics. Yeah. There's a huge conversation going on around Keke Palmer and her boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever you want to call him. Yeah. And she went to the residency for Usher this past week. Many people go and they enjoy Usher's residency because it's actually a really good residency for what I hear.
Oh, I was about to say you went?
Nah, from what I hear, I didn't go. Okay. Last time I went to Vegas, I didn't take into any residencies. I didn't really just go and take in the sights and stuff like that and walk the strip and do some of the things. But the residencies, whatever. I might take in Usher's here if I go again. Me and
when is it up?
He has. I think he has a 10.
I knew what you was about to say. Go ahead, finish what you about to say.
I think he has a 10-year residency, but I might take in that site with me and. I think he has a 10-year residency, bro. No, matter of fact, no. I'm gonna look it up because I think his residency is lifetime, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Ain't no way, bro.
Usher Vegas relate. Hold on, let me look it up. Vegas residency. It ends. He extended it. Wait. Bruh.
He's just gonna be there, whatever.
He's gonna be there for a minute. But I was gonna say, I might take it. I plan on going to Vegas very soon with a very special lady, but you know who you are. Anyway, back to the conversation at hand. It's a conversation going on social media about the dress that she wore and the comment that her baby daddy boyfriend had about it. So, Dino, what do you feel about this situation, my boy?
All right, man. So listen, it's a multitude of different ways that you can take this conversation. How I feel personally about, first off, how I feel about his comment. He has every right to feel how he feels about Keke's outfit if they are in a committed relationship. And based off of how they have been acting up until this point, you would believe that they are in a committed relationship. Some men agree with what he says, some men don't. Or I not necessarily don't agree with him, but just agree with how he went about it. But majority of men are in stance with him, like, you know, he like I said, he has every right to feel how he feels. So, I mean, for me, I feel like he has every right to feel how he feels about that situation. We'll get into the method and how he handled the situation. And then also he has to understand, as I always say, with majority of situations we talk about, you either have to understand who you are as the person, or you have to understand who you're dealing with in a situation. And in this instance, he has to understand who he's dealing with. What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts is this, and I'm on the side of you with, yes, if they are in a serious committed relationship, he has every right to feel the way he feels about what she wore and the actions that took place at that residency, because it was more so than just the dress. It was, you know, the picture was like, okay, but at the same time, me myself, I'm not very much a jealous person. You know what I'm saying? She's a celebrity, Usher's a celebrity. They enjoy the moment, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And was she kind of out of line with, you know, the pirouette that she did, showing the cheeks and hugging up on Usher, this, that, and the third? Yes. Was she? You about to say something?
No, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm glad you did pause there, because yes, she was out of line with hugging up on Usher, but it's easy to get caught up in the moment in that situation, when somebody, even though she is a celebrity, I'm sure she admires Usher and the body of work that he's put in. Maybe that was a bad choice of words with the body of work that he.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. but maybe you know, she admires the work that he's done in with music up until that point, and then him to be serenading her. You know, anybody, if it was us, and I'll get to this too, if it was one of us, a male in that situation, we may not have acted exactly how she did, but you know, we'd get lost in the moment too, and you know, want to do this and that. Ruby Rose, who I've never heard her music, but I do know what she looks like. She posed a question: if you was to come to my concert and I was to dance up on your man, what you doing? The question I got is, what am I doing? I'm just gonna like, ooh. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
whole situation, her whole situation with hugging up on him and all that stuff, she was out of pocket. But in that situation, I can see how it's easy to get caught up in the moment and just, you know, want to touch Usher. That's what women do when they. Go ahead, man. My fault.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that ride. But and to answer your question, as far as the Ruby Rose thing, me myself, it has a lot to do with, like you said earlier in your statement, was if they're in a serious committed relationship. Me personally, I don't think they seriously committed. To be perfectly honest with you,
it doesn't seem that way.
There's a lot of miscommunication in this relationship. There's a lot of disrespect going on in this relationship, and I don't think they're seriously committed. I think they are in a co-parenting situation. And I believe that Keke believes that she could do whatever the fuck she want to do, and she believes that he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. That's how I believe Keke is looking at this thing, because there's been some going back and forth between both of them on social media, where he posted something about sending her back to the streets. She posted something about, you know, she actually put a video out and talk about you know, you can get lost if you want to get lost type shit, basically. So like, I don't think this is a seriously committed relationship. He has a right to feel the way he feels about what she wore, and you know, I think he believes this is more committed than she does, honestly, because if he didn't, then he wouldn't have posted what he posted.
Right.
That's just my thought process. That's my opinion. He has the right to feel the way he feels. But at the same time, that's something you handle in private. If this was a serious committed relationship, this is something that should have been talked about before she even went and got that VIP section in the fucking residency in the first place. if I'm being completely honest. You don't put this shit on social media. I've been saying this for the past like couple of weekends, bro, since we've been talking about Zion. Keep your relationships off of social media. Yes, you're gonna if you're in a committed relationship, you're gonna love each other out loud. You're gonna post pictures, you're gonna post videos together, this, that, and the third. You're gonna show the happiness of your relationship. But everybody doesn't need to know every time you have a conflict on the internet, because drama, that's what breeds drama on social media, is conflict. So now you got everybody in the world. There's 1 million people that follow her. There's 1 million people that follow you. You got 2 million people plus they friends talking about this situation of your relationship, a private situation that should have happened in private. You could have you have her phone number. That's your baby mama.
Situation that should have happened.
A public situation that should have happened. A private situation or private feeling or something that should have been handled in private that is now being handled in public. Basically, right? That's what you're trying to say. So, but that's your baby mama. Go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to say it was the situation that we are referring to was public. Happened in public. The conversation and statements that he made should have been in private.
100%. 100%. And if this is, that's your baby mama, bro. That's your who you perceive to be your girlfriend, your wife, whatever you perceive it as. You have her phone number, bro. Why not just call? Y'all should have had this She, I'm pretty sure if y'all are committed as you think you are, she probably would have sent you a picture like, baby, this is what I'm wearing to the residency. How you think it look good? And you could have said at that point, like, the cheeks is kind of flowing out that you know what I'm saying? Them cheeks is out. You know what I'm talking about? And you going to see Usher. I'm telling you, like I don't feel comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? But just know that I'm not comfortable with you wearing that. But if you want to wear it, if you're gonna wear it anyway, do your thing. I just don't feel comfortable with it. That's what I would have said.
Yeah,
that's how I would have handled it. But he chose to handle it on social media, and now he's catching the backlash for that. As far as I do want to say something about the conversation about the "you're a mom" thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that. Yeah, but that kind of goes to,
you don't agree with what?
I don't agree with him saying that got the cheeks out, you're a mom, or whatever. I understand where he's coming from, because it's all about perception. Mm-hmm. And I had a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation with my lady during the week, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about the fact that it's not necessarily that she's a mom, but it's the perception of being a mom. The public perception of a mother. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with Chrisean Rock. She all over social media, pregnant as hell, on stage throwing ass at a concert. That's a bad look.
A bit different though.
It is because of, I guess because of who she is. It is a little bit different. But at the same time, you got your ass flowing. This shit is gonna be on the internet forever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, and then as your child grows up, they gonna see who their mom is. So you need to have a bit. To me, this is on both sides: men, mothers, and fathers. Once you become a parent, to me, there should be a thought process in your mind that you need to give a better perception of what a father or a man or a woman is to your children.
Who's to say that? Just because and again, I'm not defending what she had on whatsoever. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand who she is, who she was before she met Darius, because everybody's trying to play him because we only know him because of who his baby mama is. I'm going to say his name, Darius. Mm-hmm. But I know who she was before she met Darius, before she had a baby with Darius. And she hasn't been known to dress provocatively to my knowledge, but I do know her to be a strong female, a very confident female. So if she decided she was going to wear that,
she was going to wear it.
She was going to wear it. It's not anything Darius could have said unless they were married.
Even still, honestly,
I don't even. I think this is opinion. I think she is a respectable woman. I think if she was to be married, or if it was clearly communicated the boundaries of what the relationship was, she wouldn't have been out like that. Now she probably would have still been hugged up on on Usher. Mm-hmm. But as far as what she wore, if it was clearly communicated, like you mentioned earlier, I don't think she would have been dressed like that. I could be wrong about that too, but just from my understanding of who Keke Palmer is, I know her to be confident, but I don't
see her to be disrespectful.
I don't see her to be disrespectful, and I could be wrong, completely wrong about all of that.
Think
she could be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, but I don't think in the future this will be an issue for the child. And then I also just think that he has to understand who he is dealing with. One, because she's a celebrity, and we shouldn't give celebrities passes, but we all understand that celebrities have different set of rules that they play by than you and I or the average Jane out there.
Got you. And just to get my last points on this situation, there is a lack of respect and a lack of communication in this. I'm gonna call it a situation because I can't see with the way they're going back and forth on social media. I can't see that they're in a relationship, me personally. Mm-hmm. So there's a lack of communication, and a lack of respect in this co-parenting situation. And this Darius should have handled the situation in private, 100%. Right. And he deserves the backlash that he's getting for the things that he said on social media and the way that he's going about this situation. Was Keke wrong for wearing what she wore and doing what she do? I would say
yes.
But at the same time, me personally as a man, I'm not a jealous type of motherfucker, to be perfectly honest. Mm-hmm. I don't look at it. I take everything as a compliment until it turns into disrespect. So if I was in a situation and she wore that, I would feel some type of way about the actions that happened on stage, but I don't feel no type of way about what she wore. But what she,
I find that hard to believe.
I'm being dead eyed. I'm being dead ass. If it was Sierra and what she wore, nah, babe, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But
what's the difference though? Other than I hate to continue.
Sierra had that sheer top on with nothing underneath. Honestly, she had a bodysuit on. At least there was a lot of cleavage. There was ass out. But I mean, I guess it's not too different.
You might not feel how you felt about Sierra, but you would feel some type of way.
But again, though, if I had a feeling about it, I wouldn't have put it on social media. I would have told her up front, like, nah, babe, I don't think you should wear that type shit. Yeah. Now, if I'm not with her in Vegas and she's in Vegas going to the residency and she sent me a picture or a video wearing the outfit and I said I didn't like it and she wore it on her own, then we got a separate type of problem. But she gonna do what she want to do anyway. I can give my point and I can say I don't fuck with it, and if you do it, then now that's just a different type. Now you just being disrespectful at that point. But it's a different type of mindset. Like you got to be like, okay, away from you and with you is two different things. If I'm with you and you wear it, I'm still gonna feel the type of way, but I'm here at least. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm just not a jealous type of nigga. Like I take everything as a compliment until I deem it as disrespect. And if I'm with you when somebody looking, I'm like, oh yeah, that motherfucker fat, ain't it? She fine, ain't she? Yeah, okay, I see you. But the moment you cross that boundary of just eye candy and you try to do some other shit, now I gotta bring the 2-6 out, and now we gotta have a conversation. I'm gonna push my lady to the side, like, all right, this is I understand, I feel you, my nigga, but now you being disrespectful. So I mean, I don't know, man. He should, all in all, in conclusion, he should have just handled this shit in private, and none of this shit would have happened. But I don't think there's a commitment there, and I don't think there's a lot of communication going on there unless it's about the kid anyway. So that's just my standpoint on the shit.
Yeah, and I'll finish it with the communication definitely is gone awry if there was any communication there. And if the communication, if it had been clearly communicated, whatever those boundaries are, and for him to say what he said, although it was wrong online, he should have did it in private, like you've mentioned many times. But for him to express his feelings, how he has about what she wore, and for her to act like that, I don't know if it's because she has the backing of all of the women in America, in the world, whatever the case is, and so she's decided to be disrespectful. He now knows what his marching orders are moving forward and how to approach their situation, whether he wants to continue to try to be with her or not, based off of how he truly feels. He knows how to attack that situation.
Agreed. And one last thing.
Yep.
I don't know if there was a video circulating around that was sent to me about how Issa Rae also went to the residency before. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't dressed provocatively. Usher serenaded her as well, but she had a lot more respect for her situation than what Keke had for hers. Mm-hmm. And if y'all want to go look it up, cool, go do your thing. Go look up the Issa Rae at the Usher residency. You can look it up. It's pretty easy to find. But it was sent to me, and
I love Issa Rae, bro.
Issa Rae is dope. And the way she handled the situation with Usher was the way that I would want my lady to handle the situation with Usher. And she said that she would, so that's cool. But I would want her to handle it like Issa Rae handled it. She was dressed accordingly. She was dancing with him, but it wasn't like what Keke did. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would want my lady to handle it, and I would respect that a lot more than what happened with the Darius and the Keke situation. But I'm done. I'm not talking about this shit no more.
All right, Sticks, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Slap!
Britney Spears. Nah, I'm playing, bro. So Britney Spears has made news with this year's first number 1 overall NBA draft pick, Victor Wembanyama. Mm-hmm. She was apparently slapped by his security. How you feeling about this?
I'm rich, bitch, but nah. So the situation that happened was she was in Vegas and she was attending the Summer League games, and Wemby was on his way to one of the games, and he was on his way to a restaurant from what I know, and she saw him, and she was running up to talk to him, I guess, but he had security around him, which is good because number 1 overall pick, a phenom that's supposed to come in and change the NBA. I'm pretty sure the Spurs probably hired that security for him, which is cool. But Britney Spears is going to run up and try to touch old boy, and the security's immediate reflex was to move her hand out the way. And it ain't his fault that her face just happened to be in the way of that slap or that reflex. Like, go, what the hell you doing, lady? Who are you? And she tried to I'm spitting. She tried to overblow. She tried to overblow it a little bit on social media, and I guess she felt like she was intentionally slapped, which she has all right to feel the way she feels. But if you look at the video, you can tell that the security officer was really just doing his job. The security guard was really just doing his job. He's supposed to be there to protect Victor, and he did his job. And she just so happened to catch that follow through. So I don't feel the type of way about this. Britney Spears has, she been kind of weird over the past, half a decade here recently. So, with these dancing videos that she's putting on social media, and don't nobody really take Britney Spears seriously anymore, to be perfectly honest with you. So whenever she came out with the slap commentary, everybody was, the internet was like, "What did you deserve?" The internet is undefeated, bro. But my thought is the security officer was doing his job, and Britney Spears was just honestly, she just caught the follow through of that swipe of her trying to touch Victor. He ain't intentionally slapped her. He was trying to get her hand out the way, and it just happened to follow through to her face. What you think, D-Lo?
I mean, I feel the exact same way you do. When I first saw the headlines, though, I was like, "What? How? Why is Britney Spears and Victor
Wembanyama in the same area?
Area for one, yeah, exactly. But we love trying to make things more than what they actually are, and then also playing the victim. And that's everybody these days. We love playing the victim these days, because this, after watching the video, for it to even really be like an actual headline is comical to me. Because, like you mentioned, she was running up behind him. She's all of 5'6", I guess. I don't really know her actual height, and he's 7'6", right? 7'6". So it looks like this little tiny person, and not look like this little tiny person is like full on sprint running behind him, and she kind of grabs him, and like you said, the security guard didn't even turn around. He just swiped her hands and it hit her in the face. And then you just see her just standing there looking like a. Some things I don't want to say, but I have to. It has to be said to give the visual. Standing there looking like a Karen after she's been allegedly attacked, which she never was. It's just crazy to me, man. I mean, like you said, Britney Spears has been over the last half decade. She's been in a bad place, to speak. She did get relinquished from her. What's the word? Where her dad owned all of her, controlled all of her money and stuff. But anyway, she did get out from under that. She celebrated.
After fiduciary, it wasn't here. Fiduciary. Ain't the word. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know what you mean.
After she cut her hair off and she was on the internet looking crazy with half her hair cut. From that point on, she's kind of been up and down in the graces of public opinion. And so for this to come out like it has, and then for me to finally see the video, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is overblown. I don't even know why it was a headline in the way it was. Because when you first seen it, it made Victor, because you don't see the picture of the bodyguard. Obviously, it's a picture of him. And then the headlines, Britney Spears slapped by Wembanyama's security. So it makes you think like the slap was intentional. Like he looked her in the eye and slapped her for whatever reason. And it's just unfair, especially because he's coming into the NBA as the number 1 overall draft pick, highly touted. And for it not to be he hasn't even played an actual NBA game yet. And at that point, he hadn't even played a summer league game yet. And for this to be like one of the headlines is unfair to him. So
100%. 100%. And he just to kind of give a little bit of context, Victor Wembanyama actually said he didn't even know she was running up on him. He didn't know it was Britney Spears that was running up on him. He said, otherwise, I probably would have, showed her some respect because she is, somewhat of an icon in the music industry. She gave us a couple of hits to remember. You know what I'm saying? So he said if he knew it was her, because he literally didn't turn around. He kept walking. He didn't turn around at all. He just kept walking.
The security guard didn't either.
The security guard didn't. He didn't even know who. I don't even think he knew who it was. He just kept moving. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Victor said, if I'd have known it was Britney Spears, I probably would have turned around and gave her some respect and showed her some attention and, took a picture with her, whatever. But I didn't even know it was Britney Spears running up on me. But that's the mindset he kind of has to have as, the number 1 pick of the NBA draft and going into his NBA career. You got to be laser focused on where you need to get and where you need to go, because you will get sucked into some situations that you don't need to be sucked into. It's something like this could have, the way it happened is it kind of sucks for Victor in the security guard because of the connotation that was wrapped around it. But once you get the full visual and you get the full story, you understand that they were really just moving and doing their job. So, I mean, Britney Spears, like you said, she was sitting there like a Karen, and she tried. I ain't gonna say she tried to overblow it because she probably felt like she was actually slapped, but. Yeah. And she has right to feel the way she feels. But once you see it, it's like, okay, Britney, like go sit down somewhere, take several seats because it was not what you made it out to be. So leave that shit alone.
Exactly. It's always three sides to a story. It's one side, the other side, and then it's what actually happened. And we actually got to see what actually happened. So from her side, came out. Yeah, she got slapped from Vic, and she felt some type of way from Victor's side. He didn't know anything about it. He didn't know who she was, and security guard didn't intentionally slap her. And then the video shows that he didn't intentionally slap her,
right?
And they kept it moving. So
exactly. So that it is what it is on that situation, man. Britney, I hope you feel better, and I hope you got some clarity and some closure from the situation. But you didn't get slapped. But to move on to the next story. Larsa Pippen and her Jordan boyfriend. Larsa seems to think that Michael Jordan, the GOAT, I'm gonna say the GOAT, approves of her of her relationship with his son, but Mike came out and said, "Nah, I don't like it. I don't approve. I don't respect it." But Larsa seems to think it's a little bit different. Dilla, what you think about this situation, bro?
So Sticks is the deeper we get into this podcast and the more we start to research and look up various situations, the more and more I'm finding myself disappointed in the media and the stories that they will blow out of proportions or completely spin. Because did he say he didn't approve of the relationship? I guess he did. We see a video of him being asked as he's leaving a restaurant in Paris by the paparazzi, "Hey, Michael Jordan, how you feel about your son's relationship with Larsa Pippen?" He laughs. Mm-hmm. And then the reporter says something else. He says,
do you approve of it? And he says, no.
Do you approve of it? Yeah, he says no. But that's all he said. He literally said no. So, okay, yeah, I guess he doesn't approve of their relationship. But we don't have any in-depth conversation or context of why he feels the way he feels. And I'm sure he does not approve of the relationship, but it's not for reasons that we think it is. Mm-hmm. It's probably more than likely Jordan does have some type of respect still for his former teammate Scottie Pippen, mm-hmm. and does not want to see his son continue to drive a wedge between their relationship. But as far as the actual relationship of Larsa and him, or his son Marcus, I mean, we can only assume he doesn't approve of it, but without 100% a doubt that does he not approve of it, I really can't tell based off of this. What do you think? I don't know. I mean, it's just disappointing, man. Because when I saw the headlines, I was ready to like, okay, what did MJ actually say about this situation?
Right.
Does he bring up Scottie Pippen and all this stuff? And it's just like, no, that's it.
That's it. Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, man, because that's the same thing that I said. He might not approve of it, but he doesn't approve of it because he doesn't like Larsa or he doesn't want to see his son Marcus with Larsa or anything like that. It's exactly what you said. In my eyes, is that this wedge and this beef going on between Scottie and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan doesn't want this wedge to continue. I'm pretty sure he wants to squash this beef with Scottie. But Scottie has been on such a tirade lately with mm-hmm. the way that he's talking about Mike and, that LeBron is the GOAT and Michael Jordan was a terrible player, one-on-one taking bad shots and yada, yada, yada. This whole tirade that Scottie's been on here recently with the book that he wrote and all this, I'm pretty sure, and Michael's been quiet. Mike has been quiet through this whole situation. He ain't really said nothing about it other than the Last Dance, which was 3 years ago, around this time 3 years ago. So Mike hasn't said anything about Scottie, and Scottie's been talking about Michael for the past 3 years. So mm-hmm. It's like I'm pretty sure Mike is tired of the bullshit and he wants it to end. But the relationship between Scottie's ex-wife Larsa and his son, which is younger than Scottie and younger than Larsa, is still bringing that wedge between Scottie and Michael. And it's like, bro, like, it's not because he don't like you or he don't like the relationship. He doesn't like the wedges being drawn between him and one of his good friends and ex-teammates, and both of them being Hall of Famers, and they won championships together. Like, they have a relationship. They have a friendship. They have a bond between each other.
Had a friendship, apparently. Yeah.
To me, I think Michael still thinks he's his friend. Scottie is just butthurt with a lot of shit. You don't think Scottie? You don't think? Well, Michael is a different type of nigga though. He is a different type of
Black Cat. That's what all his boys call him. Black Cat. Black Cat.
Once you cross that line, it's a wrap. So, but I don't think he wants it to go any further, and I think he believes that the relationship between his son and Scottie's ex-wife is still bridging that gap. Not bridging the gap, but putting a wedge between it, because bridging the gap would mean it's getting better. It's still putting a wedge in the friendship. So, or what used to be a friendship. So, I don't think there's nothing to this until Mike comes out and has a conversation with somebody and says, "I don't fuck with it." Then we can just say, okay, no, he don't approve of it, but we just gotta assume. We can all assume as to why. And yes, D-Lo, I am very disappointed in the media and social media. I like because everything's a story. Drama drives social media, and it's so annoying, bro. The only thing that we see, and I know you made this comment earlier in the week too when we were thinking about topics. I don't want our channel to be just drama. But in a time where there's not really the sports that we're interested in, and the time that there's no sports for us right now, then there's all this that there is, and it's like this is so much drama on the internet, and I'm low key getting tired of it, but. Hey man, we got a show to run.
We got a show to run. We calling our podcast like a sports entertainment news podcast. So I guess we just following what's being put out there, what's being presented to us. But it's just crazy the type of things that get blown out of proportion, or make headlines for clickbait. And we're a part of it. We try to make the best out of what we do, but it's. I don't know how we would get out of it, but it is what it is. We're in it right now, and somehow, some way, we'll find a way to spin stuff like mass media does right now in our favor to get out of the drama that we're currently in. But yeah,
for sure.
All right, man. So Steph Curry finally addresses the Jordan Poole trade now that everything has been finalized. So we talked about Chris Paul going to Golden State and what that means for him. Let's talk about Jordan Poole and why he was moved on from Golden State and what his new role and his new team, the Wizards, means for him. Sticks, what's up?
Got you. So I kind of want to let you go ahead and lead this off because you said Steph spoke out about the trade. So what did Steph say? Because I'll get to my point in a minute. What did Steph say?
No, he didn't say anything out of pocket. He didn't say anything out of pocket. He was congratulating Jordan Poole for moving on, having a new situation. Apparently, or is thought to be his own team now. He'll be the starter team, especially Bradley Beal's not
Bradley
there.
Beal being gone in Phoenix now. Yep.
And he was glad to have played with him the last 4 years, watching him grow to be the person that he is, to move from being drafted by the Warriors, going to the G League, coming back, being a major contributor. His third year, or his second year, them making a 15-5 run down the stretch to make the play-in game, but losing to the Lakers. And then also the next year, him being a major factor of why they won the championship. And he didn't say anything about the fourth year, but that was it. And then he talked about Chris Paul and how excited he is to play with him, even though they've been adversaries for the last however long they both been in the league. So,
got you. So there was a lot of, in this past season, there was a lot of news circulating around Jordan Poole and the Warriors, just Jordan Poole himself. And of course, before the season started, we've all heard about, actually did a segment on it about him and Draymond Green getting into it, Draymond dropping him, yada, yada, yada. So, and now we fast forward to now, and we talk about, D-Lo made mention to the finals, the 15-5 run, them getting to the play-in and then losing to the Lakers. And there was a shot that Jordan Poole took that
wasn't this year though.
That was this finals.
No, the shot was this year.
The shot was this year.
15-5 run stretch that I was talking about. The second year.
Gotcha. Yeah. But they they got into the playoffs. They played the Lakers. Jordan Poole took a shot that the whole world think he should have taken. And Steph was pretty mad about
Curry. Nobody would say
if it was Steph. But Steph has that reputation though. Jordan Poole don't. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why if it was me and I saw Steph take it, I'm cool with it. But Jordan Poole though, Jordan Poole was looked at as one of those a third splash brother too though over his career.
Exactly.
So I can kind of understand it. You know what I'm saying? I understand why he took it because he's taken so many of those shots before, and throughout the playoffs, even in the series, he was going. Before that shot. Well, not even no, he won't.
That game he played good.
That game he did play good, but he took that
20-point game,
and he took that shot out of confidence. So I can understand why he took the shot. But historically, Jordan Poole, he had the stigma. When the Jordan Poole getting the game, it's a pool party. So he going crazy. You know what I'm saying? He can hit those shots. He's been seen to hit those shots before, but in that moment, it shouldn't have been him taking that shot. That's what a lot of the world believes. So. So between the situation with Draymond and the shot that was taken in the playoffs that ultimately kind of put them out of the playoffs, there's a lot of speculation about why he was moved to the Wizards in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I believe that I believe he was moved because a lot has to do with, you know, money and salary cap and how they gonna pay Chris and stuff like that too. So that's always in there. But the conversation around Jordan Poole right after the playoffs was that he was going to be traded anyway because of the drama and the shot. So I believe a lot of it has to do with that. But I'm totally happy for him, just like Steph said, that he's in a situation now where now that Bradley Beal is gone, he can be the number one option in that offense. He can go crazy. He can, you know, with all the hard work that he's done from getting drafted and going to the G League and then coming back and all the work that he's done, he can finally showcase that on a team where he's going to be the star. He's going to be the star. Between him, and I'm pretty sure Kuzma's still there, between him and Kuzma, they're going to be them guys. So he has an opportunity now in Washington. He got let me make sure, let me not say anything wrong, but he got a 4-year, $128 million contract. Amazing. Congratulations to him. So he's getting $32 million a year. $32 million a year. That is crazy to think about. That boy's getting paid. But
played the wrong sport, Sticks.
Huh?
We played the wrong sport.
We played the wrong sport. And we did. Football, the money is there in football too, but it's so much harder. So much harder. But anyway, I think a lot of that has to do with the drama in the shot, the reason why he got moved. Why do you think he got moved?
I don't think it has anything to do with the shot. I think it has all to do with the drama and beef with him and Draymond that occurred at the beginning of the year. We had said when we talked about it wasn't even a fight. The punch that Draymond landed on it was nothing. It was just one hit a quitter. We had talked about when we discussed that situation that if Golden State didn't have a good year, they were going to have a decision to make with who they got rid of, whether it be Draymond, which the speculation at the time was that they would get rid of Draymond because he was the one that, you know, pushed that envelope when it came to that altercation, and that Jordan Poole had just signed a contract with them. So obviously he would be the one that they would have kept. But I feel like as the season went on, Jordan Poole was kind of streaky. He was up and down. And then in the playoffs, when they lost to the Lakers, he had one good game, but then he wasn't playing well, so he didn't play the rest of the series as many minutes as he was accustomed to. And so he was benched for the most part, and he was just acting as if, you know, he was pouting, basically. And I feel like Draymond helped Golden State establish who they are in the NBA as a dynasty. And, you know, Golden State felt like they owed him more of loyalty than they did Jordan Poole, even though they had just paid him. So ultimately, that is why they got rid of Jordan Poole and kept Draymond, for the foreseeable future. They could very well trade him in the next couple of weeks. It seems like he's trying to get to LA. We don't know that for sure, but, you know, that's what the media says. So we're going to say that as well. But I don't think it has anything to do with that shot and everything to do with the drama and the beef between him and Draymond, and that's why they got him out of there.
And then his streaky play throughout the season and his play throughout the playoffs. So yeah, I can concede that. I can definitely concede that because before Jordan Poole got there, it was Draymond, Steph, and Clay. Steph, and Clay, and yes, the Golden State Warriors definitely owe him Draymond Green and KD. True, and KD.
Yeah,
we're not gonna talk about that situation, but they do definitely owe Draymond a lot of respect because even before Jordan Poole got there, it was them, and they were winning championships regardless. So Jordan Poole, you know, but I can concede that. I still think the shot had a lot to do with it. It was just the icing on the cake. I don't think it. Just us conversing about it now, I don't think it was what did it. I think the drama was what did it and what got him traded. But that shot was like, okay, yeah, nigga, you gotta go. Like, all right, you didn't pass that to Steph. You let Steph take it. You go take a 30-footer? Like, bruh, really? Like that's not your shot to take in that moment. You ain't got the you don't have the facilities. You ain't got the facilities for that, my boy. But but I do see him in a really good situation with Washington right now, and he can really showcase his skills. He can really hone in on his craft and be the best player on that team between him and Kuz. So we're gonna see where it go for him. We're gonna see where it go for him, and I wish him the best. He worked hard, and he gonna do his thing out there. He got paid. He did. He definitely got paid. So make sure you put that money to good use. No sports betting. No sports betting, nigga. But make sure you show that they made the right decision on giving you that $128 million contract, my boy. Just do that. At least you do that, you'll be good.
Yeah.
As long as you do that, you're gonna be good. But moving on to the next topic, man. AI is going crazy, D-Lo. AI is going crazy, and I'm scared for the future, man. Like, tell the people what's going on with AI these days, bro.
Don't be scared, man. Don't be scared.
I'm nervous, bro. We ain't gonna have jobs, D-Lo. We ain't gonna have jobs. They're gonna take all of them. It's gonna be nothing but robots walking the earth, and we ain't gonna have jobs.
Don't be scared, bro.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Anyway, so the reason that you say AI is going wild is because recently Google has updated their privacy notice online, saying that anything that is posted online will now be used as content to feed the AI machines. Theirs is called Bard. Feed their machine in order to learn from that and make those predictive suggestions and whatnot in the future. I'm going to say exactly what I said earlier when we were talking about a Keke situation. Privacy isn't really private anymore. And it's been that way for quite some time, especially when you're sharing stuff online back and forth or you're having these interactions. So, anything that we do moving forward is subject to go right to Bart so he can learn from us. All of the things that we do, whether that be the emotions that we express when we're talking to one another, whether that be, learning how to create the different arts that we've created over the years, as we've seen. The one that Sticks talks about all the time, Drake online. We're hearing Drake on YouTube making songs and whatnot, and it's not actually Drake, it's AI. Or ChatGPT creating, we'll talk about this a little bit later in this segment, ChatGPT creating books, movie scripts, and stuff like that for people. Or, it's another one called, I forgot the name of it, but basically they create artwork. And all it is a commingle. What am I trying to say? It's just it's a messed up picture of various works from individuals created into one to make it seem like it is yours. So, but like I said, privacy is not private anymore.
But it's one thing. It's one thing for them to be, it's going to evolve because technology is going to take over eventually. Like everything is going to be online. Everything is going to be through a robot. And eventually, it's going to get to a point where it's going to be all technology. But for them to take what we post and to analyze what we post and to feed it to AI to basically become, to me, my thought process goes to they're trying to become us. They're trying to be human.
They are,
and that's not scary to you, bro. Like that's not appalling. Like
no, I can't see. It is appalling, but the thing that has been blaring about AI since AI has been introduced 5 to 7 years ago is that the one thing that they cannot replicate well enough is the human emotion and the human expression.
But you don't think that with them? So we give a lot of. I know I do. I'm very expressive with what I post sometimes. Well, I don't post myself a lot, but what I do post is very expressive, and I'm very expressive myself. And you don't think that them analyzing actual expressive people crying, people laughing, people having fun, people dancing, like all of these expressions and emotions in these posts, you don't believe that with them feeding it to Bard, that they're not going to eventually learn how to replicate those expressions?
Well, the thing about computers is they don't
have feelings, I guess.
They can read and process ones and zeros very well. They can process data very well. If you show it how if you show it how what a dog looks like, and you can repeatedly show them what a dog looks like, it's going to be able to see a dog and say that's a dog. Very much like an infant. It's AI, as much as it has advanced in the past years, is very much still in its infancy and toddler phase. And so, because it can process ones and zeros very well, the thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't process feelings. It doesn't process emotion well. Now, they are on their way to doing that, and that is the reason. Yes, you are correct. That is the reason why them feeding all of this data from what we do online, our interactions, our words, our expressions with our videos and all that stuff, our pictures, it will help the AI to catch up with that. But it's just, I think it's going to be, I hope it's going to be quite some time before any robot, any machine can replicate who we are as humans. Now, the artistry of everything that we do, the raw data processing that we do, I mean, they've been doing that for us for the last 25, 30 years, and we've known what we've gotten ourselves into 25, 30 years ago. Naturally, artificial intelligence or computers, machines are going to learn how to do what we want it to do. It's only doing what we tell it to do, right? And so the more information we give it, the more information, or the more of the envelope we push. And when I say we, the scientists that have created these AI products and machines, the more that they continue to push the envelope in what they're trying to get, the more, it will become a lot scarier than it is right now. I just hope that we still have some time before we get to that point to where we not going to have, as you said, we won't have any jobs, where we won't really have a purpose on this planet, and where they are controlling us rather than us controlling them. We still have control of it right now, but the more they take the reins off of it, the more that they push the envelope with what it can do and require it to do, is the more that we lose control of it until, or it gets in the wrong hands of somebody that has no good intentions for it at all, and they open up the full force of what it can do, and then that's where we get into the issues that you are concerned with.
That's the scary part of it, because we also talked about earlier when we were thinking about the topics as well, was that they're coming out with some glasses that can detect lies.
Right.
And that's the part that's kind of interesting to me too, because me as a salesperson, depending on how these things are going to work, as a salesperson, I would love to have these glasses, because depending on how they work, I would be able to, because we talked about it earlier in the week, like if is it going to be able to sense emotion? Is it going to be able to sense how is it going to work? And I think you mentioned body language. Now, if that's the case, then those glasses would help anybody in the sales arena, because body language does speak a lot, and most people can't decipher between what most people's body language means. And if they can detect a lie through body language, then a salesperson will be able to flip that and use that in their sales process and say, okay, you said you love this car, but your body language is saying something different. So let me figure out exactly what you really need. You know what I'm saying? So how do you think these glasses are going to work? And what do you think is going to be best? What do you think is going to be best used if these are actually released?
It's still tied with our content and the stuff that we post online. It's still being fed from that. That information is being fed from that. So all they're going to do is take some of our interactions, take some of our pictures, and say, okay, when a person looks like this, they're lying. If a person looks up to the right or left, I forgot which one it is, they're lying. Small little cues that we can't pick up on, as quickly as we should in the mix of a actual interaction. The AI, these glasses, will be able to do that. Now, we're still a little bit of ways away from that, because the articles that I read was a futurist saying that this is what will happen in the future. Okay. It's not anything that's in the works right now. The best that we can do is so they're augmented reality goggles, and what we're thinking of when we say that are the Apple Vision Pros or the Meta. Was it Meta? What is the Meta one's called? Meta Quest Pro goggles.
Quest Pro, not Oculus. Got you.
And those are huge goggles. So you ain't. I mean,
ain't nobody gonna put them.
Nobody's wearing that around all day, having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, it might be in a workplace. Those might become commonplace. But as far as if you're on a date, you're just your first date with somebody, you're not gonna wear no big behind Oculus or
and
Apple
really
goggles.
And that has to come to consent too, because somebody has to consent to you wearing that to be. I would think, right? Like, wouldn't that be like against somebody's consent? Like, if they're not wearing them and you are, and they're trying to be the best version of themselves on a date, and you can tell when they lying, that's kind of like invasion of privacy, so to speak, I guess.
Privacy ain't private no more.
Privacy ain't private no more, correct. But at the same time, that's kind of awkward. Like, you trying to, we don't want nobody to lie to us, but for somebody to unknowingly know that you're watching their body language, and that's got to have some kind of like there's got to have some kind of privacy to it. Like, now you're doing this. It's like recording somebody without their consent, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but if you're in a public place, then you can be recorded. If they were in a private setting, then yeah, they probably that's
true.
If they don't consent to that, then yeah.
I can dig it.
But if you're out at a restaurant, I can record you if I want to. You might feel some type of way about it.
You're being recorded anyway, because most restaurants have cameras in them so they can record anything that happens just in case something break out. So yeah, I could dig that. I can feel that. But it's like it's just so crazy. Like these guys,
it's crazy.
It is.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, we're still, like I said earlier, we're still quite some ways away from this type of information, this type of technology being out. Now, technology has been advancing quite a bit, in the last months. In the last 6 months, really, it's been a big boom of this AI product, these type of AI products coming out. But with these glasses that you just mentioned, we're quite some ways away. We don't have the technology to actually make it look like the glasses that I have on my face right now. It's just like I said, those Apple Vision Pros is what people are envisioning it working like, but those are too bulky for somebody to actually be out in public.
Right, good gracious.
Yeah, somebody out in public wearing those.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either. And then the next thing that I want to talk about as far as AI was, I was watching a podcast, and I saw 85 South was on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked AI to write a movie script for Chico Bean, Carlos Miller, and DC Young Fly. And the way they were reading this, I don't know. I sent you the clip. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
The way that they were reading this script off, and they were all reading it together, like they all did it and they read it together. It was like, that joint will be fire for real. Like, and it's like I'm just afraid for our jobs, bro, because it's like, then you're not gonna need any script writers. You might not even need no producers.
Well, they're already on strike.
We talked about that last week. That last week too. They already on strike as far as like people. Yeah, but it's just scary that you can ask an app, you can ask ChatGPT, write a script write a movie script, a comedy movie script, a comedy/horror movie script for the 85 South show. And it can spit out a full script, an hour-long movie for these people. Like, hey, bro, we might need to start. Never mind. Well, how do you feel about this joint, bro? Like, where do you think this is gonna go, bro? Like, where do you think this shit gonna go? Like, it's so scary to me, bro. Like, I feel like we're not gonna have jobs in the next decade. It's crazy.
In the next decade, I mean, yeah, we could. You can see that. I still feel like, I don't know. Every time something new and revolutionary has come out, we have, as a human race, we have feared for our jobs. We have fear for the well-being of who we are, and yeah, it does decimate and wipe out jobs or certain industries for a bit, but others evolve and come to work alongside of those technologies. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case here, because we're actually living it. We can't look at the past to say, oh, yeah, this happened, we're good. We don't know. There is a certain point of fear that comes with it. You have to try to be optimistic, but you don't really know. Past performance doesn't always predict future earnings and stuff like that. That's what people on Wall Street say. Yeah. But it can apply with technology. So in this regard, with the script writing of 85 South, like I said earlier, what ChatGPT, Bard, and all these AI, what is the word?
Platforms.
Not platform. They're it's something with it's basically like predictive, or it's something along those lines. I can't remember the exact word, but what these AI products do is they take a look at everything that they have had access to, all the content that's been fed to them, and they take it and they kind of commingle it together to get you exactly what you're looking for. One of the hot jobs that are out now are called prompt engineers. So if you know how to write in the AI product exactly what you want to get the results that you want, you can make tons of money. Apparently, I've never looked deep into it, but I have heard the prompt engineer job quite some time. Quite a few times being referenced. But as far as the 85 South, what they did was they said exactly what you mentioned. Hey, write me a comedy horror film that features the 85 South show, and this person does this person does that, and it spits out them a whole movie script of what they think a comedy horror film would look like with the 85 South cast. The thing with this, though, and we're seeing it quite a bit, is it's basically like a referencing point. And while the information does sound good and does look good, the more you dig into it, the more you see a little bit of errors, or there's some flaws or gaps into it. And that's where we are right now with AI. Is on the surface, everything looks good. Everything does what you want it to do, but there are telltale signs of it still showing that it's AI and it hasn't been actually written by a human or proofed or anything like that, as well as it's just a jumping off point. So
yeah,
what it's doing is giving you a point to say, okay, this looks good, that's great, let me make sure I proof over it and fill in where I think it needs to be picked up at. How you feel about it, though? I mean, other than you being fearful of the situation, how do you feel about this part that you mentioned, the script being wrote for 85 South?
As far as the script thing, like you said, there's going to be some errors within the content that comes up from ChatGPT, and that's where, like you mentioned as well, that's where a lot of people evolve and grow along with the technology. Because if you can go through it and see the flaws in the script and possibly make that script better from what ChatGPT spit out, then you can make it your own and you can flow with it how you want to flow with it. It's not meant to, it's not meant to be for you to just use ChatGPT, because AI is still going to be flawed. It's supposed to be able to give you a starting point and be able to make it your own, and you tailor it to how you want it. That's what it's supposed to be used for. So I can agree with that. A lot of me is just being facetious and being and just being silly. I don't 100% believe that we're going to be SOL in the next decade, but at the same time, the way it's evolving, it has to give you a little bit of a cause to pause to say, okay, we need to figure out how we're going to evolve with this, so that way we're still safe within our own headspace to be able to move forward. It still be, it still be the part of society that we can be. Because if we start folding under the pressure of AI, that's whenever AI is going to take over. We can't do that as a society. So as long as we're able to grow with it, then we'll be fine, and be able to use it to our advantage. We'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. So what was it? 2 weeks ago, Shannon Sharp
Almost
left.
3. Yep.
Almost 3 weeks ago, Shannon Sharp left Undisputed, and they are still struggling to find a co-host to host the show with Skip. Sticks, what's going on there, man?
Man, it's going to be hard, bro. It's going to be hard to replace a personality and somebody like Shannon Sharp in general. Like, Undisputed was one of my favorite morning sports shows that I watched Well, I couldn't watch it because it came on way too early for me in the mornings. It came on, I think was recorded, or it came on like 5 in the morning in West Pacific time. So I was not up at the time to actually watch it on TV, but I listened to it every morning on the way to work, just to kind of get an idea of what happened the day before in sports and what their ideals are. It was one of my favorite shows for the past 8 years. Show was on the air for 8 years, and there was some backlash with Skip and some backlash with Shannon, and some things that Skip said, some things that Shannon said, and the beef that was forming between them over the past, I would say, 2 years. D'Lo, say 2 years, definitely the past year, but at least the past 2.
Yeah.
That was forming between them with some of the things year and a half that was forming between them with some of the things that Skip would say and Shannon wouldn't agree with, and Shannon wouldn't show up to a couple of the shows the next day because something that Shannon said, especially revolving around his love of Tom Brady, Skip Bayless's love of Tom Brady, and what he said in the midst of the Damar Hamlin situation when he almost passed away on the field. And and behind the scenes, there was always some talk about who was the leader of the show, and was it Unc, was it Skip, and Skip had a lot of say as far as what topics they would talk about, and Shannon didn't really like that. So there's a lot of talk revolving around them. So Shannon Sharp took a buyout and he left the show. His last show was June 16th, that Friday, June 16th. And he said he was leaving after the finals was over. The finals was over on June 12th. So he left on June 16th, and that last show was very emotional for Unc.
Was it June 16th? I feel like as soon as the finals was over, the next day he was gone. He was announced. That was his last show.
It was the 16th. The last show was on June the 16th, and it was a very emotional show. I think it was more emotional it was very emotional for Unc, but for Skip, it seemed like he was emotional, but I think he was more nervous. Like, okay, how are we gonna replace this man? Right. And it's showing that over the past 2-3 weeks that it's very hard to replace Shannon Sharp. Very, very hard to replace Shannon Sharp, especially the dynamic that they had on that show for the past 8 years. And it has been reported that Skip is actually taking a hiatus from the show too, because they need to figure out how they're going to replace that man. And Shannon Sharp is a personality that is irreplaceable to me. To me, he's very irreplaceable. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let D'Lo get into it. The fact that Disney just made 7,000 cuts, they fired about 7,000 people. ESPN fired a lot of their sportscasters, and come to find out that Fox and Fox Sports is also owned by Disney as well. So they probably made some cuts within their organization too, within that program. So with them making cuts and having to figure out who they're going to give this money to and who's going to be the best personality, they're probably having a hard time with the money and the personnel to figure out who the hell they're going to put on this show. So what you feel about it, D'Lo?
I mean, I think it's two ways to look at this. First off, Fox Sports 1 was truly caught off guard when Shannon wanted to leave the show. And the second one would be nobody wants to work with Skip. So I feel like they were caught off guard because, as you mentioned, or as has been mentioned, Unc's departure was rather untimely. While he did say he had let everybody know 2 weeks prior or it was public knowledge 2 weeks prior his actual departure that he was leaving. We've talked about it last week. There has been a pretty up and down time in the economy right now. So there, as you mentioned as well, just not even 2 minutes ago, just recently, there have been cuts in the media, especially with Disney letting go 7,000 people from their respective jobs within various roles of Disney. We've known quite a few on-air personalities to be let go. Jalen Rose, Steve Young, excuse me,
Susie Colbert, Keyshawn Johnson, a lot of them.
Johnson. Those individuals, Max Kellerman, Jeff Van Gundy, those type of individuals. Todd McShay, those type of individuals have been let go. David Pollock. A lot of people have been let go. So you would think with those caliber individuals being let go from ESPN and the various outlets that during this time of the co-hosting spot for Undisputed being vacant, they could easily fill in somebody. I just think that, Skip wants it for whatever reason. Skip wants it to be a person of color, a black person in that role. Names that have been floated have been Stephen A. Smith. He's currently under contract with ESPN. Don't see that happening.
Don't see that happening again.
Charles Barkley has publicly said he does not like Skip Bayless many times, right?
I couldn't see Charles Barkley on that show.
Yeah,
I couldn't see it. I couldn't see
these it. These are pie in the sky co-hosts. I think Skip wants to make a splash with this. He wants to make a major splash with this co-host. So it's like, yeah, I can replace Shannon Sharpe and the show can still be number one. Because if you just put anybody there that doesn't bring the energy that Shannon Sharpe brought on a day in, day out basis,
man.
I mean, they've always been number two, but they won't be number two when it comes to those morning sports talk shows
100%.
anymore. They'll fall because, I mean, while Skip is very controversial, he brings a lot of notoriety or a lot of attention to the show with some of his outlandish takes that sometimes are right, sometimes aren't right. You have to have somebody that can go at Skip and not be concerned with how he's going to be taken in. And that was Shannon Sharpe. That was Stephen A. Smith. And it's made Skip, I guess you can say, did make both of those. I wouldn't say made both of those individuals, but he did have a part in making them who they are now in the sports entertainment place. Yeah, in the arena. But I just think it's telling of they were truly caught off guard. Fox Sports 1, and I don't think anybody wants to work with Skip because of his outlandish takes and how he's made his name as Skip Bayless is hating on some very notable black athletes. And now if it has to be a black co-host, somebody's going to be reluctant to work with him.
100%, man. And I wanted to bear the question too, bro. Like, who do you think would be the best replacement? Because, like I said, Skip is very irreplaceable. Not Skip. Shannon is very irreplaceable, bro. Especially like you said, the energy that he brought, the personality that he had, the way him and Skip had that banter back and forth, and he always challenged Skip in his thoughts and his approach. Like, who would be the best? I think I was talking to a buddy of mine last night, and I think a good replacement would probably be somebody like Ryan Clark. I think would be a good replacement to Shannon Sharpe. I think he would. I think he would do well. He doesn't have the same fiery personality as Shannon had, but I think he would. I think he has some very respectable takes. I think he would be able to hold his own sitting across from Skip Bayless. But I just don't see nobody like Lil Wayne ain't gonna be able to do it. He don't. I don't think he knows. I think he's a sports fan. I don't think he knows enough to be an analyst to do that. As much as I respect Lil Wayne, don't take that the wrong way, brother. I know you love the Green Bay Packers, and you know something about the sports, but I don't think you would have enough to be an analyst. Charles Barkley, I don't think he digs deep enough into football to be able to do it. I know he knows a lot about basketball, but maybe not. I don't think he would be able to dig deep enough into football to be able to do it. But somebody like Ryan Clark, or even somebody like as much as I hate to say it, somebody like Kendrick Perkins might even be able to take that spot. But
I mean, he's currently employed by ESPN too, though.
True, but I'm just throwing names out. I'm trying to figure out how they would do it. But I just feel like I don't want to say this, but with the departure of Unc, did Undisputed just die?
One would think that. I mean, and that's why they're on this 2-month hiatus. They're not supposed to come back until August 28th, I believe. So, I mean, yeah, losing Shannon Sharpe takes a large portion of that fan base, of those viewers away from the show. As far as who could replace him, obviously, like we said, there isn't a person with the same energy, with the same intellect, or the same antics to bring to that show. But if I had to guess, based off of who's currently employed at Fox Sports 1 and maybe even some viable ones or available ones, I would say Chris Broussard could be an interesting choice for them.
That could be an interesting choice.
I can't think, for whatever reason, the other person I can't think of right now, but he's on the same show as him. I think he's white. I don't know his name, but he loves LeBron, thinks LeBron's, what is his name? Nick Wright. Nick Wright could be another individual. And then Keyshawn Johnson would be a more mellow pick, but Keyshawn Johnson could also be a person that they bring in and pick up for Undisputed.
Got you. And I just Googled who could replace Shannon Sharpe alongside Skip Bayless, and they said LaShawn McCoy.
That's the first name that came out. Like when it actually was known that Shannon Sharpe was leaving, he was like one of the first names. I don't think two things. I don't think LaShawn wants to work with Skip, and I don't think Skip respects LaShawn enough to want him as a co-host.
And then the second name was Emmanuel Acho, which I think would be a pretty good one. The Joy
he has
Taylor.
His own show, don't he?
He does.
Joy Taylor would be good.
Taylor would be good. I think so as well. And then who you mentioned, Nick Wright. Those were the four names that came up that whenever I Googled it for those people who are in-house candidates to replace Shannon Sharpe. But I just feel like Undisputed just died, bro. Like Unc was such a personality on that show, and he low key, even though it was his show. He was considered the host of the show, but the way that dynamic was, and the way that Shannon Sharpe held his own, and his energy and his personality on that show, he's gonna be hard to replace, bro. And I think that, like you said, they number 2 now. They ain't gonna be number 2 for long, especially if they don't pick the right person to replace Unc. So we're gonna see how that rolls, bro. We're gonna see how that rolls. But moving on to the last topic of the day, we found out last night that Kevin Costner and his wife are going through a divorce, and there is some controversy and some conversation going around the child support amount in which that Kevin Costner is supposed to pay his wife. He in the prenuptial agreement, it was said that he was going to give her $30,000 per month in child support for their 3 kids. Kids are 16, 14, and 12. She is saying that, and he was going to up the child support amount to $52,000 a month for these 3 children. She says that it is unacceptable in the amount that he's trying to give her, and she needs 6 figures a month to raise these children. D-Lo, how do you feel about this situation, my brother?
Man, you already know how I feel about this. I feel like I'm tired of talking about child support with celebrities and how much a person should get, how much the mother should get. More than likely, it's always the father that pays, the male that pays in the situation. I'm tired of talking about this. I feel like we need to add a scale to child support, and the younger they are, the more you get. When they get older, then it should be decreased. That amount goes down. You can't pay no more than this, and then even to a point where, at the age of 15, the money no longer goes directly to the mother. We open up a bank account for the child and allow them to handle their own finances to a degree, so that they can learn about money, so that they can learn about how to deal with the money that they can make and how to handle their finances in general. We always talk about, as of lately, especially in the Black community, that we don't know enough about financial literacy or financial independence. Well, this could be a way to teach them about it. And still, when they're infants to 4 years old, you get $6,000 a month. From 5 to 10, you get $4,000 a month. 11 to 18, $2,500 a month. No matter who you are, is what I feel like.
That's what I feel too, man. And it's crazy because it's all to me. It's this is a celebrity. Again, I'm getting tired of talking about celebrity marriages and child support situations and all that too. But this is Kevin Costner we talking about. This man has been doing movies since 1981.
Mm-hmm.
So, and her grief in the wedding, not in the wedding, in the marriage for the past 18 years is that he didn't spend enough time with the family. Understandable. The same thing a la the Giselle and Tom Brady situation. Same thing. It's understandable. But you got to understand that this man is an actor and producer at that. So you have to understand that whenever he is filming a movie, he's going to be gone for an extended amount of time because most actors and actresses, whenever they're filming a movie, they live on set. They live on set and they stay in character until that actual movie is done filming, and then they'll come home and then they'll spend time with their family, and then they'll stay until their next project comes up whenever they have to start, filming again. So you knew over the 18 years that this man was an actor and a producer. So he was you married into this lifestyle. And now that you filed for divorce, not Kevin Costner, you filed for the divorce. You want to keep this lifestyle that you've been accustomed to for the past 18 years. No, you're leaving the lifestyle. You are leaving the lifestyle. You don't get to reap the benefits of something that, number one, you didn't build. You was by his side for 18 years, so you helped him along the way. You played your marital role as his wife. Yes, not taking anything from that, but he's been doing this for 4 decades. He's been doing this for 42 years. So 24 years before you got married to this man, he was already in this career. So he already built this over 24 years. So you had nothing to do with his built success in the industry. So you want to come in for 18 years, yeah, y'all together, you know what I'm saying? It's my baby, it's my boo, it's my wife. Okay, cool. But whenever you leave the situation, you leave and you don't get to reap the benefits of that lifestyle, that luxury lifestyle anymore. So let me give you a couple of numbers, D-Lo. And I think I told you about this last night. Let me give the audience a couple of numbers. They had a prenuptial agreement, so she doesn't get any alimony off rip, because they had a prenuptial agreement. But what he was told to give her in the prenuptial is $1 million, that she leaves with $1 million. He is to give her $200,000 as a deposit on her new home, and he is going to give her he's going to pay for the first year of her property and her homeowner's insurance, the first year. So for 12 months after this divorce, you're going to be set straight. You got $1 million in your bank account. You got a new home, and I'm paying for all your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. Not to mention, on top of $30,000 per month in child support. So let me give y'all an idea. Audience. $30,000 per month in $30,000 per month in child support is $360,000 a year. He was going to up that number of child support to $52K a month, which would make her get $624,000 a year just in child support. That is child support. Everybody tax free. That is coming in her $52,000 is coming in her bank account. Child support is taxed before it even hits her account. So she's getting $624,000 a year for at least the next 2 years, because their oldest kid is 16 years old. So for at least the next 2 years, you're getting $624,000. I don't know how much is going to decrease once she's 18 and she's out the house, but everybody that's watching this show right now could live comfortably, extra comfortably, off of $624,000 a year. And that is untaxed money that she has. What else do you... Go ahead, D-Lo. I'm tired. Go ahead, do your thing, bro. Do your thing, bro. Talk to the folks. Talk to the folks.
No, I mean, yeah, it's just...
You don't get to keep living life of luxury whenever you leave a life of luxury. You don't keep getting that benefit, bro. Like, why do... I'm going to say this lightly. I'm going to say it this way. Why do ex-spouses of celebrities feel like they still need to reap the benefits of the lifestyle that the celebrity gave them? Like,
because they feel like they help play a part in it. But like you said, he was already established in the movie industry before she came along. Yeah, they were together 18 years. Yeah, they had 3 kids together. But a lot of ex-spouses utilize the kids or weaponize the kids as a way to get back at the spouse and use them as a way to continue to bring in that income that they really had nothing to do with generating in themselves. Now, me and my wife had a conversation about this, and a lot of mothers feel, especially stay-at-home mothers, feel as if their role within the home is not seen as a income producing role, when in fact it really is, because they save a lot of money by not having to go to have the kids have to go to daycare, not having to do a lot of things that if both parents were working, then you would have to spend money on.
Agreed.
But in these situations, usually it's going to be a nanny in place anyway. So
I was going to say that too.
You're still spending that money. I feel like I always feel like the ex-spouse, I'll stick with that phrase. The ex-spouse in these situations are always greedy, because realistically, it takes over a lifetime. We read the last time we had this conversation about other celebrities. Over a lifetime, it takes about $360,000 to raise a child from birth to 18. She's gonna get
double that.
She's going to get that in a span of 3 years, for all 3 kids. If you separate them, right? Because she's getting 600. If she was to get 52 or 30,000, what he proposed, she would get 120 each year for each child.
Right. Agreed.
So she would get that in the 3 year span. So yeah, I understand that children, if they are accustomed to living a certain lifestyle, it's expected that they can continue to live somewhat of a same lifestyle when both parents separate. But I feel like in a lot of these situations, the ex-spouse is taking advantage and weaponizing the children in order to get more than what they would like to. Because as you mentioned, the last time we had this conversation, if you are a good provider, I won't say father or mother, I'll just say if you're a good provider in this situation, if you're the person that provides, obviously you want what's best for your children. You want your children to continue to reap the benefits of what you have done up until a certain point. But it's not to facilitate a lifestyle for the parent that's in charge of the children or that has control of the children. It's only to facilitate the children. And I feel like the greed at some point has to stop, and which is why I said it needs to be a scale on how much a child can be granted as far as the pay is concerned when we're talking about paying for child support. Because not only is she going to get the child support money, she's going to get the spousal support, the alimony too. So
I don't think there was alimony in and I could be wrong. I didn't read it. I didn't read it in this. I didn't read it in this article, and I got 2 articles pulled up, and I didn't read it in either one. But it was said that the prenuptial agreement has no alimony in it, but it awards her $1 million, $1.2 million. The $1 million is supposed to go in her account, just as her money. Mm-hmm. And $200,000 as a down payment on a new home, with the first year of property tax and homeowners insurance paid on Kevin Costner. That was what she was leaving leaving it with, plus $30,000 a month in child support. Now,
but let me ask you this before you get to that point: if that was in a prenup, right? Mm-hmm. If that was in a prenup, yet they're still going to court for more child support, you don't think she's going to try to get alimony?
Of course she's going to try to get alimony. Of course she is. Of course she is. Because like you said,
that's what apparently there's something in it.
Well, they're going to court because she's trying to increase the child support. Like you said, the greed is going to come into it where she's going to try to get more than that $1.2 million that she's going to be awarded, that she's to be awarded through the prenup. But this is the thing. And just like you said, you had to talk with your wife. I had to talk with my lady too about this. And she was appalled by it. Appalled. Like, why is she being so greedy? And you made a mention of...
Well, my wife was appalled by it too. We have had conversations about alimony and child support before, and it was not this situation. It was a situation that was, the provider didn't make as much money as Kevin Costner does. Yeah.
So in the situation, you mentioned that, most celebrities don't think that a stay-at-home spouse is a money-saving situation, which it actually is. You did mention that situation. But within that stay-at-home husband or wife of the celebrity, they can also build, like, they can also build their own, like, they can take up a trade. Like, you can be you can visit different places and get different recipes, and you can be a cook, or you can build a... what's the word I'm looking for? You can build yourself a, I guess, talent or something like that, or a skill to where you can build. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know why it was blowing my mind, but you can build a skill to where if there is a situation where you get divorced, you can use that skill outside of this marriage to be able to still keep yourself going, because there's no reason why you should feel like you should still reap the benefits of this marriage if you're leaving the marriage. And if you get to a point of divorce, then if you decide, and this is what she said, if she decided divorce, then she just done with it. She don't want nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the prenup said and whatever the child support is, I'm gonna need that. But other than that, I've built myself a skill to where I can live and be productive outside of you. But a lot of celebrity spouses get so tied up in the luxury that they don't do shit. They just be chilling. You taking care of the kids, yes, but you're not doing anything productive with the time that you have whenever there is a nanny around, or whenever you do take these trips, and you're not doing shit. And that's why whenever you leave, either the man or the ex-wife or the ex-husband is like, okay, I'm gonna need all this. And the greed comes into it because it's like, you didn't spend enough time with me and yada yada. But you knew this man was a actor and a producer 24 years before you even came into the situation. So you can't blame that on him. You can in a sense, because you have to prioritize your time. But this is how he's providing for this family. You're not working. The kids are young. He has to do something to give this luxury lifestyle to y'all. So that's what he's working on. And whenever he's there, I'm pretty sure he's an amazing father. So you can't just be... we don't really know. I'm just speculating. But I'm pretty sure he's still going to be in these kids' life moving forward. So, like, take what you're giving. You signed the prenup, and he's trying to give you $22,000 more a month in child support, but she's asking for $248,000 a month, which equates to almost $3 million a year. It is crazy to me, D-Lo. Crazy to me that she's actually asking for all of this. But maybe she feels like she deserves it. But I mean, everybody gonna feel like they deserve the $3 million a year. But $624,000 a year is amazing. Anybody that puts you in the top 1% of the country, of the world, really, for real. If you want to be real, there's only 1% of people that is making $600,000 a year, and you're going to be one of them, just off child support. Just child support.
I'll say this. I said it earlier, but just like how the NFL, when the rookie contract started to get outrageous, and they were spending all this money to pay for rookies, they say, no, we're going to put you on a pay scale. Mm-hmm. Same thing should happen in this instance with child support. Somebody needs to come and say, all right, we need to revamp child support, put it on the scale. If you make this amount of money, this is as much as you can pay for each individual child at this stage in their life. At this stage in their life, they'll get this much. At this stage in their life, they'll get that much. If you make this amount of money, you can get, this amount of money. But it's not going to be anything outrageous. It's going to be enough that where the child can have the things that he wants. We're not worried about mom to a degree. So
we need to write the other spouse
parent. I should say
other spouse
mom.
to a degree, right? But we need to write that idea down, D-Lo, and present it to like Superior Court or something like that, because that might be what the world needs. Like, if you make 100, say for instance, you make 100,000 a year, and the kid is between 0 and 4 years old, then that child, you should be able to pay $3,000 a month. Well, like you said, $6,000 a month between 0 and 4. And as the child progresses between 5 and 10 or 5 and 12, you can say he gets $4,000 a month. And then from 12 to 18, you get $2,000 a month. Because as kids get older, they don't need as much, but they need more the younger they are, because you got to pay for you got to pay for childcare, you got to pay for doctor's appointments, you got to pay for a lot of things, diapers, clothes. They grow out of clothes like at an alarming rate whenever they're young. So it's like whenever they're younger, in the infancy and toddler stage, they're gonna need more. But once they get to that young kid stage and the grade school stage, then cool, and high school stage, they don't need as much. So it's like we need to write that down and present that, because that might save the world, nigga. That literally might save the world for real. Like, because the child support conversation in family court is crazy, bro. It's so crazy. The fact that you think you need $3 million a year to take care of 3 children is wild to me. Wild, bro. And
in the same breath, you have some mothers that need it more than she does, and they don't ask or receive anything.
Exactly. Yes. That is very. I'm glad you made that point, bro, because that is very, very true, bro. And they're so strong to the point where it's like they gonna make sacrifices within their own life to make sure their kids are good. And and people. And people are asking for more than 600,000 a year, bro. 624 a year, and it's women out here that's not getting anything, and they making sacrifices in their lives to be wonderful mothers in their kids' lives. Like, and you being greedy, talking about you need $3 million. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Anyway, I'm done with it, D-Lo.
All right, man. We went long today.
We did go kind of long, but it's all good.
Still gonna be we'll see what it looks like. But this has been episode 32.
Episode 32.
Too Complex. I almost said our old name. Almost said
shout out to Part of My Wisdom in the building, man. Shout out to
P. Almost said it.
Shout out to PMW,
man. Yeah, but this has been Too Complex. We hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find us on all of your major podcast streaming services. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Also leave us a rating if you feel so the need to do so. You can also find us on all of your social media platforms as well. At Too Complex Pod is the handle. And always remember, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. With that being said, we appreciate your support. We'll catch y'all next time. Salute.